Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles, California. It's game 2 of the 3-game series. The Pirates' 3-city, 10-game road trip getting underway last night with a tough loss to Zach Greinke and the Dodgers. Meanwhile, today, the Cubs and Cardinals played at Wrigley Field, and the Cubs held on for a 5-4 victory. They have crept within just a half game of the Pirates, not only for the top wild card spot, but they still have their sights set on the first-place Cardinals in the National League Central Division. Greg Brown along with John Wayner, happy you could be with us and hoping the Pirates can end this little losing streak they've got going. But, John, it won't be easy tonight. They'll see another ace. And you take a look, the last 4 games, they've lost those 4. And in 3 of the 4, they've really struggled offensively. But look at who they faced. Last night, Greinke and the Chicago Cubs were in town. They saw Arrieta and Lester. So maybe no surprise the offense struggled a bit. Yeah, and you look at those 3 games against the big pitchers, they scored just 5. They scored 6 in the other game against Hendricks. So no surprise. Runs per game the last 4 are down 2 less than they were at since the All-Star break. One of the better offenses, almost 5 runs a game. Average down, OPS down. Strikeouts about the same. The walks, not walking very many. So still tough cook going here tonight against Kershaw. You just hope they can find a way to bunch some hits together and score some runs. Hey, they were able to do that earlier, last month, in fact, against Kershaw at PNC Park. We'll see if they can't do that tonight. We'll talk about Clayton Kershaw going on the hill tonight for the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Pirates have their own tough lefty on the hill as well. But we'll talk about Clayton Kershaw as the Pirates face another ace here in Los Angeles coming up next. Yeah, the Pirates and Dodgers meet in the middle game of their 3-game series. Pirates' first trip into Los Angeles this year. And there's Francisco Liriano on the mound for the Pirates. He has pitched well much of this season. And you see the Pirates usually win when he's on the mound. And they'll need him to be at his best because, John, here we go. We've talked about it now. Seems like the Pirates facing an ace every night. Here's another one. Yeah, it's been a tough stretch here for the Pirates, facing great pitchers. This guy may be the best of them all. MVP winner along with the Cy Young since August 12th. Look at it, 5-0, a 1 ERA.
This guy has an outside chance to strike out 300 batters, which hasn't been done for a very long time. He has 3++ pitches.
Clayton Kershaw, we saw him at PNC Park last month, looking for his 15th win of the season. We're about ready to play ball. We'll go back to the studios. A game break and Paul Alexander.
Third baseman, number 10, Justin Turner.
Zach Greinke won his 18th game of the season last year, on his way perhaps to a Cy Young. Here's the reigning Cy Young and most valuable player in the National League, the left-handed ace, Clayton Kershaw. 14-6 with a 2.12 ERA. Pirates fans heard them a lot early last night, but then Greinke kind of quieted the Bucco fans. We'll check out the Toyota starting lineup for the Pirates, trying to end this 4-game losing streak. Gregory Polanco will lead off, then Josh Harrison and Andrew McCutchen, who's a .381 career hitter, against Clayton Kershaw. Ramos Ramirez hits cleanup, then it's Starling Marte and left. Michael Morse gets the start at first base. Francisco Cervelli is back behind the plate with Jordy Mercer at short. Francisco Liriano on the mound for the Bucks. Last time Gregory Polanco came to the plate leading off a ball game was at PNC Park August the 7th. First pitch. Kershaw knew it. As Gregory Polanco greets Clayton Kershaw with that home run in the first inning. It was his 6th of the year. The Pirates went on to win the game in 10 innings, 5-4. Kershaw was not around for the decision, but They did score 4 runs, collect 9 hits and 6 innings off of him. And here are the great numbers for Clayton Kershaw.
14-6, 2.12 ERA. His ERA here at Dodger Stadium just 1.40. Opponents hitting under 200 against him. You mentioned that start he had against the Pirates. His last 14 starts, 13 of the 14, 1 or less, 1 or 0 earned runs allowed.
And don't think he wasn't thinking about that start at PNC Park when he prepared for this one tonight. He will be on a mission. Clayton Kershaw. Gregory Polanco hitting .256, was 0 for 4 last night.
He had the long streak going too in the first pitch that Polanco hit. Broke that up. A little unorthodox looking, the herky-jerky delivery, but still has the fastball that can get to the mid-90s. Curveball just about unhittable. Breaks straight down.
Reaching out and poking it out of play. The fastball from Clayton Kershaw to Gregory Polanco, who's in a bit of a slump. Just 3 hits in his last 14 at bats, and over his last 15 games hitting only .203. Clint Hurdle, well aware, though he talks often about the fact that the game doesn't know the game is important. He and the Pirates know it. Well aware that the Cardinals were beaten by the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley Field today. Cubs won at 5-4.
This almost becomes it's a 3-man race. I mean, it was always like, is the Pirates or Cardinals? Can the Pirates catch the Cardinals? Well, obviously the Cubs have caught both the Pirates, and haven't caught the Cardinals, but are certainly in striking distance. And obviously with 2+ weeks to go, it should be a lot of fun. Head-to-head matchups.
Early battle here. Kershaw against Polanco. He's going to get that slow curve one of these days. And a bouncer foul. He got the breaking ball, but Polanco is ready for it. He continues to battle Kershaw. And Francisco Liriano waits in the dugout.
And that curveball, unless you're in the batter's box, I don't think you can really appreciate how much that breaks. That's the slider at 90 miles per hour. He throws it, in the high 80s mostly. Threw that one a little bit harder. See where he's working. Polanco mostly away.
2-2. Here comes the 9th pitch. And hit it hard, but at the second baseman, Howie Kendrick retires Polanco. Nine pitch at bat ends with a ground ball to the second baseman. We check out the rest of the Honda defense. Corey Seager is the shortstop. He just met his double play partner Howie Kendrick on the corners. Justin Turner and Adrian Gonzalez. Justin Ruggiano, Jock Peterson, Adam Heisey, and A.J. Ellis behind the plate. The veteran backstop has caught most of Kershaw's outings. Josh Harrison foul tips it. And not to put too much pressure on Jay, but what would make up for the loss of Jung Ho Kang maybe more than anything else if this Harrison returns to his form from last year and he laces this ball into center field, because this guy brings so much to the table, and as devastating as that loss of Jung Ho Kang is, John, we tend to forget where this club was last year without Jung Ho Kang.
Right, exactly. And Josh Harrison was a major part of it. You could argue the MVP of the team, even with Andrew McCutchen. And he brings energy defensively on the bases, at the plate. It'll be interesting to see. Obviously, a nice base hit there. He has only been starting against lefties for the most part, but if he starts hitting and doing the things that we've seen a year ago, I could see Clint Hurdle finding room for him in the lineup every day.
Now Andrew McCutchen showed you the Outstanding career numbers against Kershaw. Takes a strike. You might remember the end of May when the Pirates were in San Diego. Those fans were, after the game, Andrew McCutchen went over. They were beyond the left field wall, and he reached up and threw his batting gloves to those young Bucco fans, and the one mouth, "I love you." And that video just took off. And they're on hand, and they love their Kutch.
And they are out towards center field, a little left of center.
0-1. And 0-2. This is what we're talking about after the ball game in San Diego. Andrew McCutchen reaches up. Watch this. "I love you. I love you." That is one. That's maybe the greatest image of the year. Yep. Right there. That just says so much about McCutchen, about his fans, about baseball, how much the game means. Harrison will take off for second as the ball rolls under Ellis's mitt. No man in scoring position. A ball and 2 strikes.
Just squirts underneath through the 5 hole. Barely getting past between the glove and that right leg.
1-2. See if McCutchen can find a way to bring him home. Lays off a tough pitch at 95 miles an hour. They move Kendrick over to the left side. Adrian Gonzalez patrols the right side of the infield all by himself. That huge hole between the first baseman and the second base bag. Three and 2.
It always helps if he doesn't have good command of that slider. He throws the slider almost twice as much as he throws the curveball. The curveball, he's thrown a couple today. Josh Harrison hit it hard. And Polanco hit one hard too, but foul. With the slider, to him, he likes to throw it to the back foot to the righties, down and away to the lefties. And for the most part, he's been burying it into the dirt here in the first.
Ripped to right, but lines it right at Chris Heisey.
Some bad luck.
2 outs. McCutchen lines out to the right fielder.
McCutchen, that short, quick stroke. That was a fastball actually inside. He pulls the hands in. Puts it right on the button.
They thought maybe. Ah. Now Ramos Ramirez. A hefty cut early in the count. You often see from the Rammer. 16 homers on the year, 70 RBIs, 0 for 3, and walked last night. Walked in the first inning. One of just 6 base runners against Zach Greinke. 4 hits, a couple of walks.
There's the curveball when he gets it down. And when the hitter sees this, it looks like it's hanging. It looks like it's about belt high. Just a tight rotation. It breaks down probably below the zone.
No balls, 2 strikes. Harrison at second with 2 outs. And Kershaw picks up his first strikeout tonight. 265th this season. Pirates leave a man. First, Francisco Liriano will face this Dodger starting lineup. Justin Luciano, well-traveled veteran in left. Howie Kendrick returned the active roster yesterday. He'll be followed by Adrian Gonzalez and Justin Turner, with Corey Seager, the rookie shortstop, hitting fifth. A.J. Ellis, Chris Heisey, Jock Peterson, and Clayton Kershaw for the Dodgers.
You look for the best from Liriano tonight. He knows the matchup. He knows that he can't give up much against a guy like Kershaw. 3-0 against these Dodgers in his career. Coming off a rough one his last time out. Just 2 1/3 innings. 5 runs allowed, but 4 earned against the Milwaukee Brewers.
Without question, one of his worst starts of the year. Justin Luciano had a couple of hits. Drove in a run yesterday. 1 ball, 1 strike. Playing in his 12th game since being acquired from Seattle. 2 balls and a strike. The Dodger offense has been outstanding. This Dodger club has won 18 of its last 25. Headed up the middle and through. He just keeps hitting. Justin Luciano. Rivers Casino tips to win.
You got to minimize your mistakes. You know, against Kershaw, you don't want to give extra outs on defense first and foremost. Don't want to be making mistakes on the base pass, and maximize the opportunities. And you know, the one opportunity there in the first inning, you got a little bit of a break from the Dodgers with a wild pitch. You had your 3-4 guys come up with a runner in scoring position. You know, you get those types of opportunities. I think you have to cash them in. Hopefully, you have a little more in that opportunity department. Didn't get a whole lot last night against Greinke. You hope for a few more tonight against Kershaw.
Kendrick was hurt against the Pirates. Ended up leaving a ball game. Strained his hamstring, missed 34 games, and gets away. To second base goes Ruggiano, and an early bad start to the bottom of the first inning.
So much movement on the ball from Francisco Liriano. And he's a guy that will throw all of his pitches in any count. The changeup, that was the slider. It broke to the left. I don't think Cervelli anticipated it breaking that much to his left. Couldn't get his body out in front.
Facing a guy who's hitting .474 lifetime against him, and Howie Kendrick, and there's a base hit and a 1-0 lead for the Dodgers. Hit, wild pitch, single. Inside the first base bag for Kendrick, scoring Ruggiano. Dodgers off and running.
Really inside outs this pitch. Look at the location. A fastball around thigh high on the inside corner, and somehow is able to hit it hard right down the first base line. You're not going to see that very often. See, Michael Morse was way in, even with the bag there at first base. If he's back a little bit, I'm supposing anticipating a bunt. If he's back, he might have a play on it.
Adrian Gonzalez, 1 for 4, 2-run double in the 7th inning. That pretty much wrapped up the game last night, giving him 86 RBIs on the year.
That was kind of odd to see Morse in so far right there.
Bouncing ball, chance for 2. Quickly 1 and 2. Mercer over on the other side of the bag. DP.
And you'll take that. Kendrick with just one sacrifice hit all season long. So
Chick-fil-A double play.
As routine as it gets. A little unorthodox because Mercer on that right side had to break back to his right to get to the bag, but Gonzalez does not run well. Gets Gonzalez by a couple of steps.
Justin Turner. John, you're talking about just before that ground ball about where Morse was played. You were surprised by it? You mean how far back he was?
He's even with the bag with a runner on second base. Kendrick has one sacrifice on
that he wasn't going to be bunting, you mean?
Yeah, right. It's not a bunt situation.
Yeah, he's not going to be bunting, so why not be back?
There,
yeah, I see.
Yeah, I don't get why you're not at normal depth in that situation.
And especially going back to the numbers Kendrick has in his career against Liriano, he's a .500 career hitter against him.
And he's not a burner. He's not a real fast runner. It's not like he's going to try to bunt for a hit. If he does, I mean, you know, if you're not back by the grass, if you just play your normal depth, there's a pretty good chance that you're going to be able to retire him.
Saw it there, that last shot, that if Morse is playing at normal depth, might have a shot at that Kendrick ground ball that went inside the first base bag and brings home Ruggiano.
And especially a guy like that, he's a pretty good hitter and likes to hit the ball the other way. And so, for him, that's, his objective is to hit a ball to the right side to move Ruggiano up with nobody out in that situation. So you expect him to try to drive it to the right side. And based on statistics, the one sacrifice hit, chances are he's going to try to swing it to move him over than the bunt, obviously, with just the one sacrifice.
This is lined into the gap. Justin Turner. McCutchen hurries over. Nicely done by McCutchen, and a very close play at second. Turner doubles.
Well, what an effort by Andrew McCutchen. Now, he went an awful long way, running hard, cuts it off, watch him turn, gets his balance, and throws a strike. And made that very, very close.
Look how much ground McCutchen covers, and that ball not getting to the wall because of how quickly he got over there.
That was extremely impressive.
So, a 2-out double for Turner, a 6-game hitting streak for him. And now Corey Seager. Seager hit his second big league homer, his 14th major league game last night. Hit it off Jeff Locke. His first home run here at Dodger Stadium for the former first-round pick. 21 years old. Jeff Locke gave up 5 runs, 4 earned, and 6 in the third innings. And that was plenty for Zach Greinke. 2-1 on Seager. Two count. Corey Seager. Zach Greinke really does appear to be well on his way to capturing his second career Cy Young and his first in the National League. He and Madison Bumgarner tied for second in wins behind Jake Arrieta, but at 1.65 ERA, the lowest in the majors. A 3-2 count on Corey Seager.
Pretty good eye. You figure the rookie first time facing Liriano, and we've seen so often and marvel about Liriano's ability to get chases out of the strike zone with the slider and changeup.
That's the strikeout on the fastball at 96 miles per hour, but a base hit by Howie Kendrick, and it's 1-0 LA.
by Toyota. Toyota helps you get the most out of your drive. Just ask a friend who drives one. Toyota, let's go places. And by Barrel Automotive, we're driven to be better. Let's go Bucks.
It is 1-0 Dodgers. Howie Kendrick just off the DL delivers the RBI single. And fans of Chung Ho Gung, the get well wish here in Los Angeles. A lot of folks disappointed that Chung Ho Gung not here, obviously, because of the injury. Looking forward to his first trip into Dodger Stadium. Large Korean fan base.
I think he was probably looking forward to LA for the first time. Assume it's the first time.
Certainly in terms of a big league uniform, his first time. And this ball toward the right side and room for Adrian Gonzalez. Marte fouls out, 1 up and 1 down. Michael Morse, who oftentimes will put on a show during batting practice. And how about this blast? There's a State Farm sign on your left, and he hits it, and the crowd and the players all reacted. That was a bomb.
That's crazy.
Crazy strong.
I only witnessed Pedro in batting practice hit it out to right, but it's always hit the roof first. I've never seen anybody
It would have just cleared the roof completely had that sign not been there. Michael Morse getting the start at first base. Kershaw has given up 14 home runs on the year, including that Polanco home run last month at PNC Park. Picks up his second strikeout.
And that looks like the slider from Kershaw. Late movement running in. Chasing off the plate.
Two up, two down for Kershaw. Here's Francisco Cervelli. Fastball a little in. Ball, 1 strike. 6 consecutive years with 200 or more strikeouts for Clayton Kershaw. And 266, the 4th most in Dodger history. Back to that slow curveball.
You see that out of his hand. It looks like it's going to be high. It looks like it's going to be up, around the neck. It just tumbles.
Sandy Koufax struck out 382 in 1965. That's the National League record. Struck out 317 in 1966, 306 in 1963, and Kershaw 4th on the list. And bounce to 3rd for Turner. And in the dirt, but as smooth as it gets over there at first base, Adrian Gonzalez, like it was nothing. 1, 2, 3, go the Bucks.
Giving the gloves to the young boys, and who could forget the video and the footage of the I Love You Man happening. We're pleased to be joined by this family. This is Roger McCreary, and these are his sons. This is Elijah, and this is Christopher right here. Roger, what did that moment mean to you as a dad to see all that happen with your boys when Andrew gave them the gloves?
It meant everything. It was just a surreal moment. I mean, I actually got dizzy. I turned around. It was a San Diego fan that had to tell me that McCutchen was coming, and he came, and I looked, and I got kind of dizzy, collected myself, and was like, unbelievable. Best player in baseball, giving my boys the gloves. It was just surreal, euphoric. I couldn't even put it into words.
Now, when you look at the whole situation of you becoming a Pirates fan, you're not from Pittsburgh, and you have no connection to Pittsburgh. You grew up here in L.A. How in the world did you become a Pirates fan?
Well, 1969, I had a mentor. He was 5 or 6 years older than me. He brought me here to Dodger Stadium. He was a Maury Wills fan back then. And I saw, I saw Clemente at the batting cage. I saw him out there in the outfield, and I said, who is this guy? He looks great. He said, this is one of the best players in baseball. Ever since then, I was hooked. I mean, he was just my boyhood hero.
Now we're going to have a word with the boys. Now, Elijah, so the gloves from Andrew McCutchen, where are they right now?
They're in a frame, a glass frame, sitting on our dresser, and every night I look at it to remember Andrew McCutchen and I had dreams of him giving me the gloves.
That's fantastic. Now, Christopher, it was you that said, I love you, man. I love you, man. What do you remember from that moment?
It was just a wonderful moment, and I just remember him like giving me the gloves and giving me a dap, and it was just like crazy. I couldn't even believe it. I was riding home and just like was shocked. Couldn't say anything.
Oh, you said a lot, and we'll remember it forever, certainly. Now, Roger, back to you. So the fact that Roberto Clemente meant so much to you, made you a Pirates fan, how meaningful is it that your boys kind of have that carried on a little bit with Andrew McCutchen? I'm assuming they're McCutchen fans for life, right?
Oh, yeah, they're McCutchen fans for life, Pirates fans for life. It's great. I mean, of course, everybody knows Clemente was a humanitarian, just an asset to the game of baseball. McCutchen is the same way, so they couldn't have found a better player, a better person to really, kind of go to bat for and call a hero.
Well, Roger, we're certainly glad we found you, and it's great to talk to you and your family.
Hey, it's great. I'm here kind of with a heavy heart. I need these Pirates to win this game. We got to get that game at home against the Cubs.
He's a pretty intense fan, Greg and John, when you look at these guys. He's been asking me before we went on camera, are we going to catch the Cubs? Are we going to host this wild card game, man? We have to.
Well, ask Elijah and Christopher. I think they're experts. Are we going to catch the Cardinals?
Okay. All right, we're going to ask you guys, are they going to catch the Cardinals? What do you think?
Yeah, probably. I think they are.
You think all right, what
down, and we're going to win.
Nice.
We're going to kill them.
And you know what else is cooler? Is that these jerseys right here, these are Dad's jerseys. These jerseys are over 30 years old. Impressive job by you, Roger, preserving these jerseys, the socks and everything. These are Dad's old jerseys.
Are there numbers on the back of those jerseys? Sorry to interrupt you.
No numbers on the back. They're just plain Pirates jerseys, and they're fantastic. What a job by Roger keeping these things preserved. These things are over 30 years old.
Wow. Nice. Great stuff, Robbie. Thank you, and thanks to Roger and to his two great sons, Elijah and Christopher. Bucco fans for life. And yeah, Roger was talking about how he fell in love with Roberto Clemente as a youngster, and now his youngsters falling in love with the Pirates. Roberto Clemente Award winner, and hoping to win the national award, Andrew McCutchen, being voted on now, and will be announced during the World Series. If McCutchen gets enough votes, he will be the national winner.
What neat kids, huh?
Oh, man. That's so cool. Need to see such a, you kind of get lost in your world in Western PA, but you see the intensity of these fans from Los Angeles. Roger and his two kids. 1-2 on Jock Peterson. That is what it's all about. Watching their hero.
Well, he's good with the kids, isn't he?
Oh, man. Nobody better. A radio program a month ago, and someone said, the host asked, is Andrew McCutchen better baseball player, better person? And I paused for a long time. I said, I don't know the answer to that. Struck him out. Jock Peterson goes down 1-2-3, 96 miles per hour. 1-0 Dodgers. Moment this year, and we won't soon forget our day automotive this day in Pirates history. It was on this date last year. The Pirates beat the Brewers 4-2. One of the most dramatic wins. Russell Martin 3-run homer in the 8th off Jonathan Broxton. Johnny Gallardo had stymied the Pirates for 7 innings, struck out 11. The Bucks finally broke through the Brewers' pen. John Holtzcomb picked up his first career win in relief of Jeff Locke, who pitched well for 7 innings. And that game, it's appropriate we talk about this, won Root Sports an Emmy for a sporting event / game, live unedited program, special series, went to Root Sports Pittsburgh. Just announced tonight. That was just won tonight as the Emmys are going on here in Los Angeles. So congratulations to Root Sports Pittsburgh for winning that Emmy, and to all the folks that involved in that production. A great crew. Not just Adam Elmore and Pete Toma, Tyler Graham, Jason Steele, with us almost exclusively all year long, but folks who put on each and every game. As Jordy Mercer hits it towards shallow center and drops in and skips past Jock Peterson, but Chris Heisey was right there to back him up. So just a single for Mercer.
Playing shallow out there is Peterson. That's the only reason he thought he had a shot of making that play. See where he is, how shallow, breaking in. The whiff, but we saw it last night. Chris Heisey backing up out there. This guy plays hard.
Yes, he does.
There's not many, if any, right fielders in the game that would have been where Heisey was right there.
Now Liriano tries to bunt Mercer to second. He has a couple sacrifice bunts this year, along with 7 RBIs. Leadoff hit for Kershaw. Against Kershaw for Mercer. And swinging away, and a base hit. Why not? The way Liriano is hitting off of Clayton Kershaw. Wow. Liriano smacks it up the middle.
That is such a gutsy call, and it's a gutsy call because you risk running into a double play ball. You know, you just hit it right into an infielder, and it's an easy double play with the pitcher hitting. But like you said, Liriano's been swinging the bat so well this year, and see, it's you talk about like swings and not wasted movement or anything like that. You know, wide stance, no stride, gets his hands back early, just slaps down on the ball, not trying to be too big or swing the bat too hard.
His last 9 starts, he's hitting over 300. And he just singled off of one of the toughest pitchers in all of baseball. Jordy Mercer, shallow pop into center. Oh, apparently Liriano has told him for some reason he's not able to wear that particular jacket. It must not be uniform. Got a strict MLB uniform code with what they wear, and apparently that one didn't meet the standard.
That is strange.
How about that? Crew chief Paul Emmel, Andy Fletcher, the first base umpire, Kerwin Danley at second, Jordan Baker at third. So it's first and second, and Gregory Polanco at the plate. Third baseman Turner thinks he might be bunting, or at least going to try and protect against the bunt, and it's bunted foul.
Hard to say if that's a sacrifice. It wasn't a very good attempt.
And it's surprising because Polanco has dropped down a couple bunt hits this year, has no sacrifice bunts, and he doesn't look like he's the greatest bunter in the world.
You know, and I'm looking at the right side because a lot of times you think, oh, maybe you try to bunt for a hit against a tough lefty like Kershaw, although Polanco had a couple hits off from that last start. The right side was back.
Another bunt foul.
And you don't have to be too fine with it. You know, you don't have to keep it down the line. You don't even have to bunt it too softly. You just bunt it firm. Let the third baseman. Let the third baseman field it.
0-2. Now they expect Polanco to be swinging. And he dribbles it. And it's going to work like a bunt. He almost beat it out. Second and third, one away.
How about that? Swinging bunt. It'll work, hopefully. Cash in. Talk about maximizing opportunities. It's a great opportunity right here.
Point Park University tweet. It is the biggest adjustment that a team looks to make against an ace like Kershaw, or are the adjustments made individually?
I mean, when you're in a batter's box, yeah, you do it individually. You know, you do what you can to try to get the bat to the ball. And I think, you know, I would think that Jeff Branson, the message, if any, delivered to the players would be, don't miss the fastball when you get it, you know, because the off-speed stuff is so good. The curveball they hit 116 against the league. The slider just 187. The fastball's at 233, which is still, you know, pretty impressive.
But that's your best shot.
That's your best shot. And certainly you don't want to help them. And those two pitches out of the strike zone. And this is a situation where they're conceding a run. The infield's back. You want to stay short and just to get on top of the ball up the middle. Bring one of them home. You find a hole. Maybe you bring both home. But now's the situation. Kershaw's looking for the strikeout. You're looking for contact.
Struck him out looking. Not a good at bat there for Josh Harrison. Infield back. Chance to tie the game. Swings at two pitches out of the zone and looks at one in the zone.
Two sliders that broke off. This one right on the corner, about thigh high. And it'll be interesting to see here if Andrew McCutchen gets anything to hit. I'm surprised actually that they aren't walking him intentionally.
I think this goes to Kershaw, and not in a bad way, but ego. He thinks he can get the best out.
I'm sure Andrew liked that call.
Did you see, I'm sorry, did you see Madison Bumgarner last night walk Paul Goldschmidt intentionally?
I did not.
Didn't really care for it, and when Goldschmidt got to first base, he yelled to him, "Wasn't my idea." 1 ball, 1 strike on McCutchen.
That's what Bumgarner said.
Yeah. It wasn't my idea, he yelled to him. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs, and Andrew McCutchen at the plate, lined out to right field in the first inning. Don't get many opportunities against a guy like Clayton Kershaw. And it's 1-2.
96 miles per hour. Definitely not pitching around him. I thought maybe they'd pitch around him. Let's see if Andrew with 2 strikes here can make them pay.
Not close. 2-2. MVP a couple of years ago at the plate, and the MVP last year facing him. 27-year-old Clayton Kershaw. Oh, tough one there to lay off. He did. 3-2.
Yeah, that's the one thing. Andrew does not chase very often. The curveball, you see it out of his hand. It looks like it's about belt high. The rotation takes it down in the dirt. There may not be another batter in the game that recognizes spin as well as Andrew McCutchen does.
Toward right field. If it's fair, the Pirates lead. It's a fair ball. Andrew McCutchen wanted it back. Gives the Pirates a 2-1 lead in the third. Lines it to right. They pitched to him and he made them pay.
That's right. Make them pay.
95 RBIs for McCutchen.
That is huge. Andrew McCutchen, 2 outs, 2 strikes against one of the best in the game. Kershaw goes with that slider, leaves it up middle of the plate. And Andrew McCutchen, another hard hit ball the other way, cashes in for 2.
And they react. Roger, Elijah, Christopher, their man has done it. And the Bucks lead it 2-1 in the third.
That's great stuff.
Number 17, Ramos Ramirez.
Ramos Ramirez takes ball 1. He struck out in the first. Andrew McCutchen, 35 doubles, and now with 95 RBIs on the year. That is 1 shy, by the way, of his career high, 96 ribbies in 2012. One 0 count on Ramirez. One and one, another opportunity here for the Pirates. Andrew McCutchen, going to watch him again. Little English. Leaner, Carlton Fisk-like as he's running to first. Andrew McCutchen doubles home Mercer and Liriano. Oh, ouch.
It never feels good. Looked like it got him right in the shin. Right off the toe.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Eventually has to get back in there.
Yeah, take some time, shake it off. He won't miss that.
When he calls it quits, you mean?
Yep.
Yeah. So 1 and 2. Close.
And I think with Andrew, I think there's a quiet determination about him this year that we haven't seen. That where he's, almost just wanting to do more than he's ever done before.
Well, I think I don't know that he'll say this, but I think he plays with again, a positive way, but a chip on his shoulder. He's always wanting to kind of prove himself to others. A fly ball to left should be the final out. It will be. Ramirez flies out to Ruggiano, but Andrew McCutchen doubles home Jordy Mercer and Francisco Liriano, and a jubilant fan base here in LA, especially those guys. 2-1 Bucks. Ready to go. Francisco Liriano now with a 2-1 lead. And Clayton Kershaw. One ball, one strike on the pitcher. And 127. So what the pitcher can do at the plate to help his own cause. Liriano with a base hit. And that led to the 2-run inning. Two balls, two strikes to count.
You have to be careful with him too, Kershaw.
Yeah.
Hasn't done much this year, but still can swing it.
Now 3-2. Mariano takes care of Kershaw. Well, Andrew McCutchen, we were talking, showing you a lot of that family, Roger, his sons Elijah, Christopher. They were yelling at Andrew McCutchen. Just now, McCutchen noticed those three. He remembers them from San Diego. That's great.
That's fun.
Point Park University tweets about Andrew McCutchen. Big 2-run double. Give the Pirates this lead. Now Liriano in front of Luciano, 1-2. And a display of perfect patient hitting against one of the most diverse pitchers in all of baseball. MVP McCutchen. Liriano gets his third strikeout.
That's one thing we've noticed with Liriano of late. I think more so in the second half than the first. Throwing more fastballs the first time through the lineup, being more aggressive, kind of making the other team respect the fastball a little bit more, because I think he's so well known for throwing so many off-speed pitches, that great slider and changeup. You get that hitter up there thinking about the fastball, and when he starts throwing that good change and slider, he typically gets the chases.
One and one on Kendrick. He had that ground single to right inside the first base bag in the first inning.
Just missed him. Let that one go.
2-1. A tough play here. Ramirez going to bare hand and get Howie Kendrick.
Nicely done.
1-2-3 after the Pirates took the lead. Still have it 2-1.
on Root Sports is brought to you by the Chevy Cruze and your Western PA Chevy dealers. And by Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. Let's go, Bucks!
Pirates are leading 2-1. UPMC scoreboard. We move to the 4th inning. Middle game of the 3-game series against the Dodgers. Pirates try to end a 4-game losing streak. Remain a game up on the Cubs. A W would do that and get them to within 4 of the first place Cardinals. Meanwhile, these Dodgers trying to wrap up the National League West, their magic number to clinch down to 7. As the Giants lost earlier today. They were shut out 6-0. And a ground ball by Marte. Seager throws him out.
Number 31, Michael Morse.
We got Michael Morse, who struck out his first time. Next Saturday, Pirates will host their first ever play ball event. Youth between ages 5 and 12 invited to participate in baseball and softball activities on the field at PNC Park. This event is free, but registration required and space limited. For more information or to sign up your child, go to pirates.com/ball. Morse takes a strike. Hitting 300 as a Pirate with a homer, 4 ribbies. That home run came as a pinch hitter. It was a grand slam. Clayton Kershaw, second year of his 7-year, $215 million deal. The reigning MVP and Cy Young Award winner.
And he is a workhorse, too. I mean, he takes the ball, he pitches deep into games, he throws a ton of pitches.
And bounce to Seager. 2 up and 2 down. A couple of bouncers to the shortstop. Want to see your strongest fan photo? Use the hashtag PittDataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself at an upcoming broadcast. It's brought to you by T-Mobile. Hashtag PittDataStrongFan. Look for yourself in an upcoming broadcast. 2 outs, no one on here in the 4th. Pirate fans everywhere. Francisco Cervelli bounced to third baseman Justin Turner in the 2nd inning.
It's amazing. We talked about this a little bit on the radio side last night, like the fans and how they just pile in here.
Yeah. And you really hear them. Well, we heard it on the McCutchen double.
And I'm going to
the
say
cheering that takes place here.
I'm going to say about a half an hour before the game, I'm looking around thinking, nobody's here. There's no way they get the crowd that they got last night. It's just like everybody's just appeared in the last couple of innings. And it's, again, another
Cervelli
big crowd.
Takes one off the foot there.
That instep of his seems to take a beating.
Towards center. Peterson. 8 pitches for Clayton Kershaw. Pirates lead by 1. All right, Paul, thanks very much. They had a great come from behind win last night to force that Game 5. Congratulations to Dean Trainer and all the folks that helped Indy, the players. Some are here. Let's go downstairs to Robbie and Smikowski.
Well, as you take a look on your screen right there, you see a pretty cool tweet from @Pat McAfee Show. That is Pat McAfee, the punter for the Indianapolis Colts, showing his support. Our Indy Indians need your support. So he was able to purchase 250 extra tickets for people to enjoy the game. He sent out another tweet with a code word to say when they walk up to the box office to pick up tickets. Pat McAfee is from Plum High School, went to West Virginia University, and a great show of support, playing for the pro football team in Indianapolis, helping out the farm team, his favorite baseball team, right?
That's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Leading off Adrian Gonzalez. Speaking of minor league playoffs and such, shout out to Wyatt Torregas. Talked to him for our radio pregame today. He helped lead the West Virginia Black Bears to the New York Penn League Championship.
A lot of talent in the minor league system. It's pretty impressive. You know, just about every level. Making it to the postseason.
Liriano facing Gonzalez, Turner, and Seager. Strikes out Adrian Gonzalez on the foul tip. That's number 4, and that's 8 in a row set down by Liriano. Since Turner doubled to the right center gap in the first inning.
Going upstairs with the heat. You can tell Liriano has a little extra too. You can see it a couple times. I think I've heard him grunt a couple times, which I don't ever remember hearing from him. Yeah, that pitch he threw into Kendrick, it sounded like he put a little extra on it.
Ball one on Turner. To Ramirez. The second out. Non-stop action, heart-pounding excitement, historic performances. Don't miss the 2015 postseason beginning October 6th. Go to MLB.com/postseason for a full schedule. Buccos also looking at a magic number that has dwindled considerably to reach the postseason for a 3rd straight year, but not giving up on the Central. A win tonight could move them to within 4 games of the Cardinals. 2 weeks from tomorrow, the last regular season game, so time's a wasted. Boy, there's a little number essentially back toward 3rd as the pitch was in on Seager, and there's a 6-pitch 4th inning for Liriano. 2-1 Bucks. Tuesday on Root Sports. Hear game reaction and analysis on the Steelers' latest game and see how the coach is getting his team ready for their next matchup. Mike Tomlin press conference live Tuesday at noon on Root Sports. TMC scoreboard 2-1 Pirates lead here in Los Angeles. It'll be Jordy Mercer to lead off the 5th inning against Clayton Kershaw, followed by Francisco Liriano. That combination leading off the 3rd inning produced back-to-back singles, and both Mercer and Liriano scored on the Andrew McCutchen 2-out double to erase the 1-0 deficit. Pitches by inning. And if this pattern continues, he should have a long one. Mercer singled in front of Jock Peterson, leading off the 3rd, and Peterson tried to come in and make a shoestring catch and skip past him, but Chris Heisey was there to back up. 2-0 on Mercer. Another player looking to have a strong final 2 weeks to this regular season. It would really help the Pirates push toward the Central, because Mercer will play virtually every game the rest of the way now that Jung Ho Kang is out.
He's had a bit of a home run drought. Obviously had the injury, missed some time.
It's this hard.
Think about Jordy Mercer against left-handed pitching, especially. He's always hit left-handers pretty well. But he's a guy that you think with regular playing time has 10, 15 homers in him, you know?
No question. Francisco Liriano comes to the plate. There's a tweet. What is the whole idea of having Liriano put that shirt on? What are the rules? Thanks to Scott Bonnet. Bones, the equipment manager, telling us that that was a hoodie that Liriano had on originally. You can't wear hoodies. You don't want the baseball getting caught up in the hood. So this is what it looked like after his base hit in the 3rd, trying to put the hoodie on, and no, says Kerwin Danley.
Once again swinging away in a sacrifice situation.
Whoa. Mercer is picked off. That's a no-no.
Saying it, we've seen it, said it so many times, minimizing mistakes. Not giving them outs on the bases. I'm not sure if something was on there.
It almost looked as though something was on, and that's why he was leaning, John.
Maybe. It's hard to say. It's why you don't see very many hit and runs against left-handed pitchers, because it's hard to get a good jump. You got to make sure a left-handed pitcher is going to the plate, so it's not like a righty. As soon as he lifts the leg, you can break. A lefty, you have to read the move, and so you don't get much of a break to even open up a hole in the infield.
The appeal, Jordan Baker, third base umpire, said no swing. Fourth strikeout for Kershaw. He races Mercer on the pickoff and strikes out Liriano, so 2 outs now. Number 4 for Kershaw. 6 consecutive years of 200 or more Ks, and flirting with 300. A couple of more starts following this one.
Time since a 300 strikeout season.
What year did we look up? Was it 2002? Yeah. Schilling
and Johnson, teammates.
Both.
You looked it up.
Both in Arizona. Well, I didn't like to reveal that. Sandy Koufax, 382 in 1965.
That's
all-time record is 383 by Nolan Ryan in 1973, then with the Angels. The all-time National League record belongs to Hall of Famer Sandy Koufax. Kershaw last year won his 4th straight ERA title. And he gets another punch out. That's 5. At the halfway mark, it is 2-1 Bucks.
On Root Sports is brought to you by Allegheny Health Network, Health for All. By Kenny Ross, Just Ask a Neighbor. And by Levin's, the official furniture and mattress supplier of the Pittsburgh Pirates. For the best quality, service, and value, shop Levin's. Let's go Bucks!
Our Allegheny Health Network injury update. Brandon Compton, what a tough year. Had been on the disabled list after undergoing Tommy John season-ending surgery in March, and on Thursday underwent right shoulder surgery. So elbow surgery to replace the ligament, and then shoulder surgery. Recovery time 13 to 15 months. Wow, our best wishes to Brandon Compton, and that is tough. And we'll find out, I'm sure, tomorrow during our radio program with Neil Huntington as to exactly what happened with Brandon Compton. There's an hour before first pitch tomorrow.
Sad. I mean,
yeah.
Your career doesn't last that long. To miss at least 2 full seasons, it's devastating.
On A.J. Ellis. Checking the colored pen out. And strike 3 is called on A.J. Ellis, number 5 and 11 in a row, retired now by Liriano. Make sure you keep up with the pennant races in true HD quality on MLB.tv Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service. College students enjoy a back-to-school offer with 35% off discount. Authentication required. Blackouts and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv today. There's Chris Heisey, popped up in the second. We promised Chris we would send along a big hello to his wife Lisa, watching back in Dillsburg, PA. Chris Heisey from Central Pennsylvania. Their Central Pennsylvania Bucco fan Emily Perkins in Marysville, PA. 30 years old today. Happy birthday to Emily. Drafted out of Little Messiah College out of Mechanicsburg, PA by the Cincinnati Reds.
A literal birthday yesterday. Scarlett, my niece, had a baby girl yesterday.
Happy birthday.
The actual birthday.
Yep.
Congrats. Hope all's well.
Well, it's been a while for Stella Langiati, 90 today. And her grandson today is 7, Ryan Kerr. Kathy Proya, crewing coordinator at Root Sports, celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday, Kathy. She does a great job. Congratulations again on the Emmy that was announced earlier tonight. Sandy Tracy let us know that her father, Ed Petro, grew up listening to Bucco baseball on WMBS in Uniontown. 96 today. Strike 3 on Chris Heisey. 6 Ks for Liriano.
Yeah, he's on top of it right now. Liriano is feeling good. And this wasn't one of his best located pitches. It's a slider that he left down the middle, but it started far enough off the outside part of the plate to where Heisey thought it might stay away, but that broke right over the heart.
Jock Peterson struck out in the second. Corey Seager has struck out and bounced out. Playing in his 15th big league game and having himself some fun. Liriano falls behind 2-0. This rookie. 25 homers, 52 RBIs for Jock Peterson. 20 of the 25 coming in the first half. He offers 2-1.
That's just guessing strike right there. Liriano working him in with a couple of fastballs to fall behind, then he throws one well off in 2-0, and Peterson just figured it would be in the strike zone. Offered
2-2, and now anything can happen, but it appears as though he's really confused.
Yep.
Back with the slider. Oh, that struck him out looking. Strikes out the side in order. 7 punch-outs for Papa Francisco. 2-1 Bucks.
of his game here tonight. 7 punch-outs. His bottom of the 5th inning. Gets strikeout looking, then the breaking ball. And that one, perfect location. Jock Peterson feeling helpless against the Liriano slider.
That's as good a reaction as you'll get out of an opposing hitter. So Liriano a little shaky in the first inning, a couple of hard hit balls, but since the Turner double, it has been lights out. 13 in a row he has set down. Now Clayton Kershaw will face Josh Harrison. He has struck out 5. Harrison singled in the first inning, then struck out looking with the infield back and runners at second and third and just 1 out. Pushes it past the pitcher. Now it's a race to the bag, and he will beat Kershaw there as the ball gets away. Josh Harrison, smart hitting. The bunt single.
Perfectly done. That's what you do when you have a lefty on the mound. You bunt it to the right side, far enough from the bag to where the first baseman can't make a play on it, and it's just a race between you and the pitcher. And they did a pretty good job, a pretty good effort there. Of,
Kershaw is pretty.
Yeah, Kershaw running hard. Gonzalez led him. If he's able to catch it, still don't know if he could tag Josh in time.
If he holds on to the ball, that is a bang-bang play. Josh Harrison, his second hit, telling Adrian Gonzalez all about it. Jay Hay aboard for Andrew McCutchen. Kershaw decided to pitch to McCutchen in the third after striking out Harrison, and with first base open, McCutchen burned him with a 2-run double. And that right side of the infield again wide open.
Happy with that call. It's something to say to Paul Emmel, but our strike zone has it top of the zone inside corner.
Now it's 0-2. McCutchen's first at bat, he lined out to the right fielder Chris Heisey. Adrian Gonzalez holding Harrison, so that means nobody between first and second.
Good 100 feet between the first baseman and second baseman.
Again, McCutchen has hit the ball hard the other way both times. Against Kershaw, came in a .381 career hitter against this tough lefty. And he strikes him out with a breaking ball. 6 Ks for Kershaw.
Typically, when you hang a breaking ball, it's a pretty good pitch to hit. But Kershaw, again, that breaking ball, it just falls off the table. It just has so much downward movement, even with the mistake, and leave it pretty much middle.
Barrel Automotive league leaders. Opponents' slugging percentage against off-speed pitches since July the 1st. Look at that, 142 against Kershaw.
And not batting average, slugging percentage. Ridiculous.
Ramirez, who has struck out and popped up to left in the hole 0-1. Kershaw coming into this game unbeaten his last 13 starts, which include 3 complete games, 9-0 and 0.98 ERA. That'll be out of play.
He's counting tonight's game again. 15-game stretch where he's only allowed more than one earned run twice.
He's the third pitcher to have gone undefeated with an ERA under 1 over a span of 13 or more starts, joining Bob Gibson and Gaylord Perry. Gibson did it in 1968. Perry did it in 1974. And he strikes out Ramirez looking. Thomas Ramirez says no way. Is that a strike? 7 for Kershaw.
See what the UPMC Sports Medicine Strike Zone says. It says it's just off that inside edge. And Emil has been pretty consistent with that.
Ramos Ramirez was right in this case. That was inside. That was not a strike. Here's Starling Marte, who's fouled out and bounced to short. Marte once again having a heck of a time against Dodgers pitching this season and for his career. 2 hits and 16 at bats in the season series. 150 career hitter against the Los Angeles Dodgers. Kershaw, a quick step off and throw. And now he picks off Harrison. Gonzalez goes to Kendrick. And the second time the Pirates get a runner picked off in the last 2 innings. Lead 2-1. In the top of the 6th, caught stealing. Josh Harrison takes off with 2 outs, and Clayton Kershaw gets him. A tweet here. Do you think some pitchers get away with balks? Seems Kershaw has a lot of movement in his windup.
You know, some guys get away with balks more than others. I mean, as far as him here, you know, the only thing that you might question is whether he's balking. Is he stepping towards first or stepping towards home? I mean, you have that imaginary 45-degree line where they're allowed to step. I mean, there's like, you know, again, it's an imaginary line. The umpire has to determine whether he steps too much towards home or does he step towards first. I mean, that was questionable there. But, you know, the windup, as long as he comes set and stays still, you're allowed to move your head back and forth. But you know, his first movement was towards first. So the only thing questionable about that particular move would have been that imaginary line. He's shown 3 different moves over there already. I mean, he has one where he just picks it up and steps straight there. There was one where he comes up and hangs a little bit, and then the step off move. And so It's funny. You face a guy like Lester, and he has zero moves,
yeah,
and he does nothing. And Kershaw, mixes it up a whole bunch and tries to keep these guys off balance. And so not only can he throw, he can strike guys out, he can hit. He runs hard, he plays hard, and he works on his move to first base. And he's very quick to the plate, even if the runner on first or second. He's so quick to the plate, it's hard to steal off.
Get on board with Bucko Baseball for 2016. The Pirates accepting deposits right now for full and partial season ticket memberships. Get access to exclusive events, the best locations and savings, and you can customize your membership. Plus, remember, 2016 full and half season deposits will receive 2015 postseason access. For more information, go to pirates.com/membership. You do not want to be left out of the exciting postseason or all the excitement of 2016 at PNC Park. That's 8 strikeouts now for Liriano, 4 in a row. And back to the top of the order, Justin Ruggiano. Two and one. He led off the first inning with a base hit, was wild pitch to second, and scored on a Howie Kendrick base hit. Liriano giving up 3 hits in the first 4 batters he faced, but since then has set down 14 in a row. Pedro Alvarez looks on along with Pedro Florimon. 2-2 count. And a strike 3 called. 5 in a row. 9 on the night for Liriano.
5 in a row, 4 of which looking. And what's impressive is the pitch count. I mean, you have that many strikeouts, 9 strikeouts. You're into the 6th inning with 2 outs. You only throw 75 pitches. Ooh. Gets a little help, kind of like Kershaw against Ramirez.
Don Mattingly was barking about it. Howie Kendrick 1 for 2. One ball, 1 strike. Two and 1. Liriano's season high strikeout total 12. Did it twice this year. Once in May against the Mets. Another time in June against the White Sox. 2 and 2.
The late swings against the fastball, the off balance and out front swings against the breaking ball, and freezing a number of guys with 2 strikes with both the fastball and breaking ball.
Oh, a flare fouled. This is a guy at the plate who owns Liriano, at least he has in his career. Getting close to 500 against him, the veteran Howie Kendrick. Full count. .476 lifetime. Including his RBI single in the first. That's this one hard. One hopper, deep short, long throw. Mercer. It's a strike to Michael Morse. Jordy Mercer, a fine defensive play, and Francisco Liriano has retired 16 in a row. Park, but recently they've been hurling toward the infield thanks to Pirates outfielders. Plus, we take you inside Buck's dugout for a team dance party. That and more on Inside Pirates Baseball, presented by Allegheny Health Network tonight after postgame on Root Sports. (2-1). Pirate fans with their pirate crowns. And he's king on the hill right now, Francisco Liriano. What a job he has done. Alex Guerrero takes over at third base. Just a one-run lead, however. Starling Marte was at the plate when Harrison was caught stealing. Marte fouled out in the second, bounced out his last time. Jay Hay with 2 of the 6 Pirates hits.
Turner must be hurt, huh?
Must be.
Looking back, I mean,
Can't think of any play that was
really
difficult for him.
Yeah, nothing's really gone his way recently.
And Marte goes down, and that is number 8 for Kershaw. That's 3 in a row for him.
And the slider. And again, at times overpowering. Took a little off. We've seen a lot of those sliders at 90. That was at 87. But guys with that type of velocity, the quirkiness in his delivery, he doesn't always have to be perfect with his location.
He has struck out 5 of the last 6 batters he's faced. He got Michael Morse in the second.
Curveball gets a swing and miss at that about 41% of the time. The slider, which we saw Marte strike out on, he gets a swing and miss at that over 45% of the time.
Back to Kershaw. 2 up and 2 down in the top of the 7th. And now Francisco Cervelli, who has bounced out and flied out. Kershaw's 10th career appearance against the Pirates. Had that no decision August the 7th at PNC Park. Went 6 innings, gave up 4 runs on 9 hits. A no decision. The Pirates won in extras 5-4. Kershaw hasn't walked anybody, along with the 8 strikeouts and 6 hits, 5 of them singles, and the double by McCutchen the difference. Became the first Dodger pitcher to win an MVP since Koufax in '63 last year, and now falls behind 3-1. Don Newcomb, and as he advanced the others to have won MVPs while pitching for the Dodgers. And a rare free pass, a 2-out walk. Cervelli reaches. Jordy Mercer, who has 2 of the 6 hits, will come to the plate.
figured if he was going to walk anybody, and if it wasn't McCutchen, it'd be Cervelli.
Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Mercer, a soft single to center field in the third, and a sharp single to left in the fifth. The Dodgers' magic number to clinch the West down to 7 as the Giants lost to Arizona. The Pirates lead over the Cubs at the moment, just a half game, as Chicago beat St. Louis 5-4 at Wrigley. The Cubs have won 5 in a row. Pirates desperately need this one to stay a game up on the Cubs and moved within 4 of the first place Cardinals. Garrett Cole on the hill tomorrow for the Bucks. We said earlier the Pirates really aren't thinking just postseason right now, but their magic number to clinch, to return to a third straight playoff, is 5. Combination of Bucco wins, Giant losses, totaling 5. The Pirates are back in again. And there is a 4-pitch walk, but of course he's got Liriano to the plate, so not that he wanted to walk, he's kind of disgusted.
He's all fired up, and it didn't look like he, especially once he fell behind Mercer, it didn't look like he wanted anything to do with him. I'm sure Mercer probably had the green light there 3-0, but just being careful.
I'm going to get on the bullpen phone. Well, you think Andrew McCutchen put a hurting on Kershaw? Liriano could really do that. Honeycutt will head to the hill. Want to pass along our condolences as a big Pirate fan passed away last week. Jay Yano, originally from West Mifflin, had been living in Columbus. Thoughts and prayers to his wife Ann Griffin and 3 children. Quick conversation there for Rick Honeycutt. Here at Dodger Stadium for game 2 of the 3-game series. And perhaps a preview of a playoff series down the road. And the Pirates and Dodgers met in the postseason many years ago. Bounced to Kershaw. Liriano's retired. 7th inning stretch time. Pirates lead by 1. Rising to the occasion, Francisco Liriano for sure. Pitcher's duel and a classic tonight at Dodger Stadium. Clayton Kershaw and Francisco Liriano. Kershaw gave up the 2-run double to McCutchen in the third. In the first inning, it was a Howie Kendrick base hit that brought in Justin Ruggiano.
I get the feeling he's not done yet.
Now Mattingly came up, maybe saying, "You did your best." He talked for a while. Maybe Kershaw talking him like, "Why?" He's at 97 pitches, so that's not awful by any stretch.
You look at the pitches he's thrown this year.
Yeah, 3 starts to go 132. He always throws at least 100.
Yeah, very rare for him not to throw over 100 pitches.
8 times he hasn't. One of them against the Pirates at PNC Park last month. So 1-1 on Adrian Gonzalez.
May 4th, since May 4th, he's gone over 100 pitches. Every start but 3.
Sean Rodriguez takes over for Michael Morse at first. And now he falls behind 3-1. Adrian Gonzalez was hit into a double play and struck out. Gets the strike call. 3-2.
Maybe look to the fans here that it was a pitch away because of the way Cervelli caught it, but caught plate
well within the strike zone. Here it is, 3-2, and lined to the left for Adrian Gonzalez. He starts off the 7th with a base hit to left. That breaks the string of 16 in a row retired by Francisco Liriano since the Justin Turner 2-out double in the first.
Well, you figure out Frankie hasn't had the pitch from the stretch since the first. Gonzalez, not just a pull hitter, powered all fields, collects hits to all fields.
Now he faces Alex Guerrero, who took over for Justin Turner at third base. The Cuban defector. Bouncing ball. Mercer, a little trouble getting the ball out of his glove, and that cost them a double play. Mercer couldn't get the ball. Otherwise, 2 outs, nobody on. Instead, Guerrero reaches on the force play.
Yeah, that would have been huge to turn 2. Liriano says, "We're all right. We'll get you another ground ball." And yeah, I think as he caught it, Mercer caught the ball on its way up. A little bit of an in-between, not quite a short hop. And usually if you don't catch it in the spot you're used to catching it, these guys catch almost every ground ball in the exact same spot in their glove. And if it's not right there, more times than not, you have a hard time getting a good grip on the ball. You see how it's coming up at the end. It rolls to the web of the glove, and that's why he has a hard time grabbing the handle. If it stays in the pocket, he gets that good natural quick release that we always see from Mercer.
1 ball, 1 strike on Corey Seager. Seager has struck out and with a soft 1-hopper to the left side of the infield. He has been sensational since his call-up. Look out, 2-1. At the 92 pitch mark. Lefty Tony Watson, righty Jared Hughes. Mariano needs a strike right here. Gets it. That ball was in on him at 95, 2-2. This is a fun matchup here. Liriano, when he is on, one of the top lefties in all of baseball, against this phenom in his 15th big league game. He's hitting .333 against lefty pitching at the major league level. And now 3-2. And he has shown a veteran-like eye at the plate. Has Seager, having walked 9 times already.
It's so quiet. You don't see many flinches, or even where he starts his hand on that breaking ball that breaks away from him.
Ball 4. It's first and second.
That's a pitch that, breaking ball that he doesn't want to leave up, but very close to being a called third strike. With a 3-2 breaking ball, top of the zone.
Didn't get the call. Should have been strike 3. A.J. Ellis comes to the plate. Has grounded out and struck out looking. Bounce toward third, and a fair ball into the left field corner. It's tied. Marte will get the ball in quickly. A chance for the runner at third, and he is safe there. It's 2-2. Seager had rounded the bag. Mercer didn't see it. Tied at 2. A.J. Ellis doubles home the tying run.
Oh boy, when you talk about it, I mean, this is a double play ball. If it's hit a little further, or a little further away from the third base line, I mean, it wasn't hit all that hard, but placed right inside the line. And that would have been a big out at third if there was a little earlier communication. That's a tough call. It's Josh Harrison's call as the double cut man, as that ball's coming into Jordy Mercer, to tell him where to throw it. And I think he thought Seager rounding third, there was a good chance that they were going to try to send him home. And so you got to make up your mind right away, does J-Hay, to tell Mercer where to throw it, whether to go home, whether to cut it, whether to go 3. And all that happening at once. If Jordy Mercer doesn't go with the pump fake, and he knows how far Seager got around third, we would have got a big out. Big second out there at third.
Well, this is a tough call here. They are intentionally walking Heisey. Chris Heisey batting just .156 at the big league level this year, and Heisey with an average of .125 against lefty pitching, but has had some big hits in his career against Pittsburgh, to face the left-handed hitting Jock Peterson, who has struck out twice. And now they're going to lift him in favor of Austin Barnes, a rookie backup catcher. And a big move here by Don Mattingly. And here comes Ray Searage.
Ray out to pass along the scouting report on Barnes. This has to be a bit of a nerve-wracking experience for young Austin Barnes. Called upon here in a 2-2 game, bases loaded, 1 out.
Kershaw going to be done for the night, it appears, with Jimmy Rollins out on deck. And the Dodgers have tied the game and a chance to get him a win. With just 1 out, the base is loaded. Scott Van Slyke would be a guy that Mattingly would go to under normal circumstances, but he's been dealing with a cyst on his hand and has been struggling just swinging a bat. So, and you might be wondering about Yasiel Puig. He's been out with a hamstring issue, so it's down to Austin Barnes against Liriano. And ball one. The 25-year-old from Riverside, California, seeing his first big league action this year. Has played in just 15 games, has 23 at-bats. 1-1.
Well, that would have been nice if that would have knocked right out in front of home plate. Pulled the trigger a little early on a good changeup from Liriano.
Ground ball to the shortstop, Mercer. There's one. High throw, but Rodriguez stays on the bag for an inning-ending double play. Liriano didn't get the double play. Turned earlier. That cost the Pirates the tying run.
Huge.
Pinch hitting for Jock Peterson to hit the ball right to Jordy Mercer for an inning-ending double play. Mercer to Harrison. The throw from Harrison was a bit high to Sean Rodriguez at first, but Rodriguez able to hold the bag.
That was huge. Change up. You're hoping to get the rollover grounder. That's even one a lot better off when you got that ground ball that leads the shortstop to the bag. It's a nice, easy flip. You get the second baseman the ball in plenty of time. That's big for Liriano.
Chris Heisey now moving to center. Scott Schebler moves to right. Kershaw still out there because of the double play. Gregory Polanco leads off. Kershaw back out there for the 8th. Sean Rodriguez taking that high throw. Josh Harrison kept his toe on the bag. Ball, 1 strike. Polanco 0 for 3 against Kershaw. Lines it to left field. Going to get down and head to the wall. That's 2 for Gregory Polanco to start the 8th. Now Cafe laces it to left.
That's
just great hitting, and I'm sure Kershaw's just not used to this. It's a pretty good pitch and a pretty good location, but Polanco, his long arms, effortless, just slapping it the other way. He gets to face one batter here in the 8th, and that will be his last, as the Pirates a chance to retake the lead.
Once again, Kershaw, as was the case in Pittsburgh on August the 7th, will not get a win. That night, it was a no decision. Tonight, they could hand him just his 7th loss of the year.
Pittsburgh Pirates and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Nissan Road ahead. Garrett Cole looks for that 17th win tomorrow afternoon against Mike Bolsinger. Concluding game of this series. Pirates hoping it will be the rubber match. Need to pull out a win tonight for that to happen. Hope to be on hand. Clayton Kershaw goes 7+. He's up 7 hits to this point, 2 runs. Now Chris Hatcher, who pitched last night, faced 3 Pirates batters. Gave up a base hit to Starling Marte, but got Andrew McCutchen to foul out, and Aramis Ramirez grounded out. And Neil Walker will pinch hit for Josh Harrison. Goes toward left, out of play.
Hatcher, a very hard throwing right-hander. First pitch at 97 miles per hour. He's going to try to make it very difficult for Neil to pull the ball to the right side. And that's Neil's objective. And my guess is if he's going to throw Neil any breaking balls, he'll probably be out of the zone. He'll look for a chase. Try to keep that fastball outer half to where Neil can't get around it. Saw the catcher set up in there. You see that a lot as A.J. Ellis went to set up inside. And they do that when they make a move towards a base runner, in case the hitter turns around to see where they're at, maybe to get tipped off, or maybe they're trying to throw them. But rarely do they go in there after they do that. But they do here, and Dodgers do not get the call.
97 miles an hour. Does this catch by Ellis create the call from Paul Emmel?
For whatever reason, he really yanked that glove up. He didn't have to.
One ball, one strike on the pinch hitter Neil Walker. Bounces it to the right side, so Polanco will get to third. And that's the first out.
So surprised. That situation, he threw him the easiest pitch to hit to the right side. A breaking ball out over the plate and down. That for a left-handed batter is like
putting it on a tee, right?
Yeah. I mean, if you come in with it, maybe you'll pull it foul. But when you throw
it, that could he possibly be safe? Is it that close at first?
Something happened with Hatcher as he went to the bag. I don't know if he went to reach back for the bag, but that was kind of weird. He kind of just stops.
Allegheny Health Network Super Mo. See what they're checking out.
There's a little bit of a snow cone.
Oh, the other.
Well, he kind of looks away, but afterwards he kind of came back to the bag or something. It was odd.
I'm going to walk McCutchen intentionally to face Aramis Ramirez. This will put runners at first and third and set up a double play situation.
You get the feeling that Ramirez loves this. He loves the idea of getting an opportunity here.
Again, he faced Hatcher last night in the 8th inning and grounded out. That's what Hatcher will be looking for here. A ground ball from Aramis Ramirez.
Third baseman number 17, Aramis Ramirez.
First and third, one out. Ramirez 0 for 3 against Kershaw.
Ramirez just had a little conversation with Paul Emmel, and probably had something to do with that last at bat where he was struck out looking on a pitch inside that he didn't like.
What might he say? Hey, I didn't like that call. Or hey, how about next time? Give me a call.
He was making amends.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
This didn't mean anything by it.
The crucial bat here. He doesn't want to get any more strikes.
Fairly close play. The last thing in the world the Pirates need now is to have somebody picked off again.
Already two picked off at first.
Of course, McCutchen would love to keep Ramirez out of the double play situation. McCutchen has 9 steals on the year, 13 attempts. And the opposition has not run much against Chris Hatcher over his career. 3 for 3 this year, 3 for 4 in his career. Former Marlin. And in the dirt. That would have been nice.
And you could probably be aggressive on those balls in the dirt, I would think. I would be surprised to see a catcher after chasing a ball away from him with the speed at third with Polanco. Yeah. It's not the same throw as when you're chasing after a ball, picking up, kind of throwing it on the run. It's hard to be as accurate as if you're just coming up and throwing as if it's a steal. And it would be kind of a risky move to make that throw.
Line drive left center field. Aramis Ramirez makes the Dodgers pay. As Polanco comes in from third, the Rammer rips it to left center field. The Pirates have the lead again. It is 3-2. McCutchen, you pay.
Loves those situations. Aramis Ramirez loves those situations. You give him an opportunity to drive in runs. And that's just a slider not exactly hanging, but middle of the plate, just above the knee, and man, just a pretty swing from Ramirez.
Another look. Luciano plays it off the wall. The run scoring Ramos Ramirez delivers, and that run charge to Kershaw, so now he is on the hook, and they will intentionally walk Marte with Sean Rodriguez on deck. And that run, of course, belongs to Kershaw and gives Liriano the lead. Marte walked intentionally. Liriano probably done for the night. Ramos Ramirez, his 71st RBI of the year, his 29th as a Pirate, brings home Polanco, who got it started with a double to left.
Number 3, Sean Rodriguez.
Well, a couple times tonight, the Pirates have made the Dodgers pay for some decisions. They pitched to McCutchen with first base open in the third. He doubled in a pair. They walked McCutchen intentionally. Ramirez doubles in the go-ahead run. Now Marte has walked intentionally, so Sean Rodriguez now looks to at least drive a ball out of the infield. The speed of McCutchen, a fly ball with any depth, should give the Pirates an insurance run. Oh, and 1. Sean Rodriguez, veteran, hitting .248 this season with 4 home runs, 13 runs batted in. Rodriguez 0 for his last 9 at bats. Off to a great start this month of September. And now 1 and 2. Wants to get McCutchen home at the very least. McCutchen at third was walked intentionally, moved there on the double by Ramos Ramirez. And Starling Marte was walked intentionally.
This had to be a tough call, I would think, for Clint Hurdle with the options he has on the bench in this situation. And with the lead, obviously, he'd rather have his defense out there, give Sean an opportunity. Let's see if he can come through here.
Two and 2. Well, you see what would have happened had he decided to pinch hit, say, Pedro Alvarez, which would have been a choice. He's got J.P. Howell loosening, and I guess that's kind of what it comes down to, I guess, John, with your Clint Hurdle.
Yeah.
Do you want Rodriguez facing the righty Hatcher, or do you want Alvarez facing the lefty Howell? Bouncing ball foul. 2 and 2 on Sean Rodriguez. Tony Watson will be coming on for the bottom of the 8th. Pirates hope to add on here. Give Watson in the bullpen some breathing room as Kershaw and Liriano, the starters, are out of there now. Two and 2. Just alive, and it's a fair ball and a double play. Sean Rodriguez says it's a foul ball. Home plate umpire Paul Emmel said no. And a double play, not what the Pirates wanted there. The last thing they wanted. This is going to fall on deaf ears.
pretty. See there, if it doesn't hit Rodriguez, it appeared that it didn't hit Sean. Pretty much right on that line.
Pirates get one. Lead 3-2. The 8. The base is loaded, one out. It's this dribbler and
trying really just to stay alive, Sean Rodriguez. And, you know, you're in there and you're behind the count. You got 2 strikes. You got a guy throwing 97 with a pretty nasty slider and a split, and you just feel like you got a piece of it, that you're going to stay alive. And unfortunately, you know, it turns out to just be a little number that rolls a few feet and stays right on the line.
Neil Walker at second base. And Tony Watson. It's interesting that Ellis decided to throw to first there.
Yeah, instead of just
tagging Rodriguez. He steps on the plate, but then he throws to first.
Watson. Just this 1-run lead. You saw the good numbers. Always important to get this leadoff guy, the veteran.
Jimmy Rollins. The rookie Corey Seager has been getting the starts now at shortstop. Rollins hitting .307 from this right side of the plate. Watson falls behind him, 2-1. Pop up.
Threw his bat at it.
Ramirez puts it away. 1 down in the bottom of the 8th.
Outfielder number 27, Justin Ruggiero.
Chase Utley did not start tonight against the lefty. He did start last night against Jeff Locke. 36-year-old veteran, former Phillies teammates. Top of the order, Justin Ruggiero. Single to start the first inning, was wild pitch to second, and he scored the first run of the ball game. One ball, one strike. Mark Melancon goes through his 8th inning routine. Well to right field. Polanco over. Oh, what a catch! What a catch! And he bangs his knee against the wall. Gregory Polanco, a sensational grab in right. What a catch!
That's pretty impressive stuff right there. This is why you play no doubles. You play a little bit deeper to try to cut these balls off. And yeah, McCutcheon said, thank goodness you're so tall. You got the long legs, the long strides. Also needs the height and the long reach. Wow. That's certainly at least a double. Because if he doesn't catch that, who knows how far that ball bounces off the wall and rolls around out there. There's no telling. I mean, it is a good possibility. If this hits the ball, that rolls towards center field, and Ruggiano runs all day.
Oh. Tony Watson reacts. Gregory Polanco, a great shot there as he banged up against the wall. Those Pirate fans, look out. Robbie. Oh, got it. I think Robbie got hit. Shoot. Oh, darn it. That hit Robbie. And Potenciano, one of the trainers, is tending to him. Got Robbie and Smokowski on the shoulder and actually take him into the Pirates clubhouse. Ball is lined toward the camera well where Robbie sits. Shot to first, a little stumble, but nicely done by Rodriguez. A fine defensive play there. And what a play by Gregory Polanco. Tony Watson, a 1-2-3, bottom of the 8th. Pirates lead 3-2 going to the 9th inning. A very eventful bottom of the 8th. A great defensive play by Polanco. A nice play by first baseman Sean Rodriguez on the hard hit ground ball by Howie Kendrick. And also during the inning, our own Robbie Makowski was hit by a foul ball just below the right shoulder. Amy Garcia takes over for Los Angeles.
53rd appearance, 3-3, 3.12 the ERA, 62 punch-outs, 52 innings. Opponents hitting under 200 against him.
A good rookie season for Garcia. Pedro Alvarez is going to be pinch hitting here. So get down to the pitcher spot. Cervelli Mercer 1-2 here against Garcia.
Airplane. I don't know how far it came from, but the folks were cheering it on. And that airplane almost made it to Cervelli. Ran right behind him.
What a reaction.
Nasty breaking ball right there. And he left it in, which I'm not sure he wanted to, but it had a lot of break to it.
One ball, 2 strikes. Garcia follows Kershaw and Hatcher. Kershaw goes 7+, 3 runs, 7 hits. And a soft liner picked at second base by Kendrick. We're going to go down for an Allegheny Health Network injury update to the guy who got hurt.
Yeah.
How are you?
Thankfully, I'm all right. Ben Potenziano, the assistant athletic trainer, who is fantastic at his job, right in the sternum. There was no getting out of the way of that one, I promise. I've tried to grab my fair share of foul balls, but you think you're pretty safe right in here. That was a crazy angle, but everything's good. Probably x-rays after the game. I don't really know how you do an injury update on yourself.
My gosh.
Because you never want to be the story, but unfortunately, I couldn't get out of the way of that one, Greg.
Tell me you're not hurting right now.
It's hurting, no doubt. I got an ice bag over here somewhere. I'm going to ice it up a little bit, do the post-game interview. I think we'll tough it out. We'll be okay.
Pay attention.
Yeah, really, my gosh. That is not safe down there. Howie Kendrick, man, that hit the ball that smoked Robbie in the sternum.
As long as it didn't.
I give Robbie credit, actually, for
coming
back out there. Ball a strike on Jordy Mercer, who has been on base 3 times.
By the way, the airplanes are coming from the upper deck. And that one came from the upper deck all the way to home plate. They just threw another one that landed in left field.
They know how to make paper airplanes here. Beach balls and paper airplanes.
Yeah.
Still 1-2 on Mercer. Alvarez is out on deck and looking ahead to the bottom of the 9th inning. It's Adrian Gonzalez, Alex Guerrero, and Corey Seager to face Mark Melancon. Pop them up on the infield. Guerrero and Seager converge. Guerrero comes up with it. Check out our Data Strong fan photo of the game brought to you by T-Mobile. That young infant Pirates fan right over the Forbes Field home plate.
Hillman Library, I
Yes,
believe. Yeah.
in the library.
Or not.
Posfar Hall.
Somewhere in Pitt.
Well, Pitt fans really get upset, by the way, if you say it's in the library. It's in Posfar Hall.
My apologies, Pitt fans. They're already, I think, a little discouraged. Their team lost.
Oh, well, that's nice of you. Oh, wow. New pitcher coming on. Two outs. And the new pitcher for LA is lefty J.P. Howell. Pedro Alvarez will face J.P. Howell.
Not a very hard thrower, but crafty. 6-1, 154 the ERA. And about a strikeout per inning.
And Alvarez 1 for 4 against him. Previous matchups. And a roller on the right side. And that'll do it. The Pirates have a 1-run lead heading to the bottom of the 9th inning. Mark the Shark looking to save it for Francisco Liriano. Tomorrow, pregame presented by WB Mason gets underway at 3:30 as the Pirates and Dodgers meet in the concluding game of this 3-game series. Pregame again presented by WB Mason as Garrett Cole will be on the mound for the Pirates. Mike Bolsinger for Los Angeles. Mark Melancon needs to get 3 outs to make it a rubber match game tomorrow, and again keep the Pirates a game up on the Cubs and move to within 4 of the first place Cardinals in the National League Central Division. Cardinals and Cubs wrap up their series tomorrow at Wrigley.
And to record his 47th save as he's 3-1 through his first 70 appearances. ERA under 2. That's the norm. League hitting just .211 against him. Keeps it in the park, which is a good thing. Just 3 on the year, and that's what you worry about with that man, Adrian Gonzalez, who's going to lead off this bottom of the 9th.
Mark Melancon, if he does get the save, it would give him the all-time single-season save record in Pirates history. He currently shares it with Mike Williams. We talked to Mike Williams on a pregame show just the other day. Very well aware of Melancon approaching the record. Adrian Gonzalez, 1 for 3 on the night. First pitch strike. Chopper, Melancon off the hill. Little slide, little pickup, little toss for the out.
And that's a big play right there. You might not think anything of it because Gonzalez doesn't run very well, but Neil Walker was out in right field, and so if Sean Rodriguez can't get over there to get it, Neil Walker had a long way to go. And, that helps that he's right-handed. He falls off that side. Plus, he's a great athlete. Made it look easy.
Andre Ethier will pinch hit. One of Melancon's saves came against these Dodgers on August the 8th. The 6-5 Pirates win at PNC Park. Ethier bats for Guerrero. And a little broken bat roller to second. 2 outs. Ball riding in on Ethier. 2 down in the bottom of the 9th.
I was the one batter I was really worried about in this inning was Guerrero. Guerrero has some pop, and righties hit Melancon much better than lefties. I mean, way better. Lefties only hit 140 against him. Righties 266. And boy, I thought that was a break there going with Ethier against that great Melancon cutter.
Here is Corey Seager. Ball 1. Melancon tries to save it for Francisco Liriano. Move the Pirates to within 4 games of the Cardinals. Stay a game up on the Cubs. Two balls, no strikes. Oh, 1-1. He called it a strike. Well, it looked like it was off the plate, but actually just hit the corner. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
Right at the knees, outside corner.
1-1.
Pitch.
2-1. How valuable Mark Melancon has been to this Pirates team this year. Trying to establish a new single season record. 2-2 on Seager. Two and two, 2 outs. Pirates lead by 1. Oh, almost offered. Cervelli, quick appeal.
Seager getting it started. We were talking earlier about how quiet he doesn't offer at bad pitches, but I think after he got jammed on the previous cutter, he's figured he better start cheating, start that swing a little bit sooner.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Melanson just does get a piece of it. Corey Seager. It would be appropriate that the Pirates would win on Talk Like a Pirate Day. And we are approaching midnight in the East. Still plenty of time to get that flag ready. Three balls, 2 strikes. And toward the third baseman, Aramis Ramirez. Raise the Jolly Roger. The Buccos win it. And Mark Melanson, a new single season saves record for the Pittsburgh Pirates. 47 of them. The Bucs are within 4 of the Cardinals. And a well-fought victory.
An important, well-fought victory. You know, it's a daunting task to come in here and face a Greinke, then a Kershaw. Pretty remarkable, though. Kershaw's last 15 starts, only twice has he given up more than 1 earned run, both times against the Pirates. The Pirates win both games. They did enough. They did enough to win. You could look at a lot of different heroes here tonight. Liriano was outstanding. We got some clutch hits, some situational hitting, some clutch defense. Just outstanding stuff. Most importantly, we get the win, stay ahead of the Cubs, stay within 4 of the Cardinals. A big, big win.
So tomorrow will be the rubber match of this series, and the magic number to go back to the postseason has been reduced to just 4. And that ends the 4-game losing streak. The 3-2 win as Liriano beats Kershaw.